Good morning, my dear students. How are you all? Hope you all are fine. Welcome to today's Social Studies online class. In the last class, we have learnt about first general elections. First general elections were conducted in the year 1952, and first general elections were very difficult to conduct. Why? Because a large section of the population did not know how to read and write. So, an election commission was also set up, and the symbols were introduced by the election commission to ease these elections, the process of elections. Also, we have seen about what was called the one-party dominance. Yes, no ma? Starting from the first three general elections in 1952, 1962 and 1967, the Congress party was able to win with majority. Okay, that was called as one-party dominance. Also, we have seen what was called the multi-party system. The multi-party system. Multi-party system, it is nothing but many parties are contesting in the elections. Okay. Not only single Congress party contesting and winning. It is not like that. Multi-party system means many parties contesting the elections, and the winning party will form the government. Okay, that is multi-party system. In today's class, we are going to learn about demand for state reorganization. Okay, children. First of all, we should know what is state reorganization. Yes, state reorganization is nothing but division of states. Division of states. Okay, states reorganization, it is nothing but division of states. So this was the first challenge faced by the independent India, that is state reorganization. So people all over India demanded to create separate states on the basis of language. On the basis of language. Okay, children. So like that, the governments also agreed. After, among the State Reorganizations Act, Telugu speakers movement was much popular. Telugu speakers movement. So they have done a movement for a separate Telugu state. Okay, children, for a separate Telugu state. And you all know Sri Potti Sri Ramulu fasted for about 58 days for the sake of separate Telugu state, and he was died after 58 days. Who is he? Potti Sri Ramulu. So because of him, we can say that we got a separate Telugu state today, that is Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So at that time, not only Telugu speakers, there were also movements going on in different parts of India for the division of states on the basis of languages. Like that, all those people, those who speak Telugu, were kept under one state, that is Andhra Pradesh, and who speak Tamil were kept under one state that was named as Tamil Nadu. All the Kannada people, those who speak Kannada, were joined together at one place, that state was named as Karnataka. Like that, there were 14 states. 14 states were divided, and 6 union territories we had after the state reorganization. Okay, children. But now we had how many states, children? We had now 29 states. Okay, but initially we had only 14 states. Some of the examples for these linguistic movements were Samyukta Karnataka and Samyukta Maharashtra, the Mahagujarat movement, etc. Okay, these were some of the examples of the linguistic movement, and among all these linguistic movements, Telugu speakers movement were very much popular. It has become very much popular. Why? Because Potti Sriramulu had fasted for 58 days. For the sake of Telugu region, a separate Telugu state. Okay. So then what happened? Andhra Pradesh was created. After his death, what happened we will see. This Telugu speakers movement, it was very vigorous and it was being supported by Andhra Mahasabha. And the methods used by them was petitions to the government and street marches and even fasts. Yes, all these were the methods used by the Telugu speakers movement, and this movement started before we got independence and it was still continued even after the independence also. But at that time the government was not decided whether to divide these states on the basis of languages. Why? Because the government already it had a fears in the minds that already on the basis of religion, India was divided on the basis of religion. So that's why India was divided into Pakistan and India. And again, if on the basis of language, if they divide India, so it may create there may be disunity among the people. That is what the Congress leaders were frightened about. But actually, so what happened, children? As this Congress was not ready to divide these states on the basis of languages, what happened? When the elections were conducted, this Congress was lost in the places, especially in the Telugu regions. Congress party was lost. Why? Because Congress was this leadership was not accepting to divide the nation on the basis of the languages. Actually, they were not against that. Jawaharlal Nehru and all were not against that, but they were frightened. On the basis of language, if the states were divided, there may be unity may be threatened in India. That is what the fears are there in the minds of the leadership. State Reorganization Act 1956. So, children, Potti Sriramulu, he demanded for the formation of a separate state, Telugu speaking state. He began a hunger strike, and on 15th December 1952, he was died on December 15, 1952, after 58 days of a hunger strike. And so immediately after his death, what happened? The states of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu were created immediately after his death. But children, after that, in August 1953, State Reorganization Commission, that is State Reorganization Commission, was appointed, and its members were Fazal Ali, K.M. Panikkar, K.M. Panikkar and Hrudayanath Kundru. Hrudayanath Kundru. So children, these were the members of the SRC. State Reorganization Commission was appointed in 1953 and the members of SRC were Fazal Ali, K.M. Panikkar and Hrudayanath Kundru. This question will be asked under 1 mark children. Who were the members of SRC? And especially these were appointed to find out, to address the issue of formation of states on the basis of language. Okay, these 3 people were appointed so that they can inquire, they can identify about the formation of these states based on the language. So that it has given its report by 1956. By the year 1956, it has given out its report, so that according to that 14 states were formed. 14 states and 6 union territories. 6 union territories were formed in 1956 according to the report given by the members of SRC. At that time, when these linguistic states were formed, these other languages, tribal languages like Gondi, Santali and Oran, these were not taken into consideration. Okay, tribal languages Gondi, Santali and Oran were not taken into consideration. Okay children, why? Because these languages were spoken by only small section of the population. That's why they were not taken care of. So that we can say that creation of this linguistic states in the beginning of the independent India. So it was our independent India was able to solve the problem of these linguistic states, and it was able to create states on the basis of language. We can say that India is not at all weakening. India is going a step forward. Okay, solving the challenges whatever it is facing in its way. Okay, to build a democratic nation. Social and economic change. So children, when we started according to run our government through this constitution, new constitution, our agenda is to lead India into a modern India. Okay, modern India, so where all the people can enjoy equality of status, opportunity. So for that purpose, the Planning Commission was set up after the inauguration of the new constitution. So when we start using this new constitution, immediately we have also started the Planning Commission. A Planning Commission was set up, that means started. So this Planning Commission was about to develop India. Okay. Nehruji, our first Prime Minister of India, he hoped that planned development would dissolve the divisions of caste and religion, community and region. Okay children, our Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, he hoped that planned development only can dissolve the problems of caste, religion, community and region, etc. So and also it helps India to emerge as a strong and modern nation. Okay children, planned development only will enable India to emerge as a strong nation and modern nation. The first 5-year plan focused on agriculture and stressed on the need for increasing food production. See children, firstly, in the first 5-year plan, it has given much importance for agriculture and also need for increasing food production. main aim was to increase the food production. So it focused on agriculture. First 5-year plan focused on agriculture and also development of transport and communications. It focused on development of transport facilities and also communication facilities, and even provision of social services like banking system, post offices, railways. All these are the provision of social services. Okay, and during the first 5-year plan they have focused on all these things, but mainly focused on agriculture and increasing food production. It also stressed the need to industrialize India as quickly as possible. Not only on agriculture, they also stress, first 5-year plan they stressed the need to industrialize India. India should be industrialized. With the industrial development only country will develop. So they have also stressed the need to industrialize India as quickly as possible. The strategy favored by Nehru and finally adopted included 3 components. The strategy, that means the plan which Nehru was followed, the plan which Nehru had implemented included 3 components. The first one is land reforms, agricultural cooperatives and local self-government. So, this was the strategy favored by Nehru. It includes 3 components. Land reforms. 3 types of land reforms were contemplated. Abolition of Jamindari system. So, under land reforms, they have abolished Jamindari system. Tenancy reforms. That means there were some changes made in the tenancy. Tenancy means what, children? When landless farmers takes lands from the landowners, they will pay some rent. Okay, those farmers who pay rent to the cultivable land, they were called tenants. Okay, so that there were changes were made even in the tenancy also. And land ceilings were fixed. That means at that time, under these 3 components of this agricultural strategy, land ceilings were fixed. That means, children, for a particular person, this many acres of land only is fixed. Okay, if anybody had more than that, that should be taken by the government. Such a kind of reforms, land ceilings, were implemented in those times. So, under land reforms, we have seen the 3 components. That is abolition of Jamindari system, tenancy reforms and land ceilings. Agricultural cooperatives. So, children, cooperatives, these will be very helpful to the farmers. These were the banks, especially for the sake of farmers. They used to supply inputs like seeds, manure, fertilizers and so on to the farmers. Okay, ma. And local self-government, it is nothing but village panchayats were started. We have now in every village sarpanch and all working, so that they used to see that all these reforms, land reforms and all these cooperatives will work successfully. Okay, children. While Jamindari system was abolished completely, these land reforms were implemented in a half-hearted manner. That means what? Not implemented successfully. But Jamindari system everywhere it was abolished. Redistribution of land to the landless did not take place. And so, children, landless peasants were they should be redistributed the land, but it was not done properly. So rich and powerful in the rural areas continued to control most of the lands in their hands, whereas Dalits continued to be landless. Okay, but they were abolished from this forced labor and abolition of untouchability. Okay, children, after we got independence, Dalits got somewhat benefited due to the abolition of forced labor, vetti. We can say we have studied in the 8th standard social studies about forced labor, vetti, and abolition of untouchability. So the untouchability also completely abolished, so that Dalits got benefited. The first 5-year plan focused on improving agriculture by building large dams to irrigate and produce electricity. So children, under the first 5-year plan, they have focused on agriculture. So for improvement of agriculture, they had built large dams. Large dams were built for the sake of irrigation and also to produce electricity. Dams benefited both agriculture and as well as industrial sector. So because of these dams, agriculture was prospered, also industrial sector was also prospered. It was very helpful. Dams were very helpful for the sake of both agriculture and industrial sector. There was an increase in the agricultural production, but still it was not sufficient to meet the needs of the population. Still more and more production is needed. Okay, agricultural production was increased, but it is not still enough for the population. Foreign policy and wars. So children, when India became independent, the Cold War had just begun. Okay, what is the Cold War? Cold War means it is in between USA and USSR. We have seen that in the 12th lesson. Yes, no ma? So, when India became independent, the Cold War had just begun. The world was divided into two, polarized. Polarized means divided into countries in the US or USSR camp. Okay, children. Either they had to support US or they had to support USSR. Jawaharlal Nehru, our Prime Minister, first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, followed a policy of not joining either camp and tried to maintain an equidistant and independent position in foreign policy. Okay, children, that was the non-alignment policy, that was called as the non-alignment policy. So, when India became independent, while all the other countries are joining in they have joined in the US camp or USSR camp, but we, India, Jawaharlal Nehru, followed a policy, that is, we will not join either of the camps, either US or USSR, and we have maintained an equidistant and independent position in foreign policy. He also joined hands with several other countries that had become independent around the same time and wanted to follow a similar policy. See children, along with India, Indonesia, Egypt, Yugoslavia, etc., they have also got independent at the same time when we were independent. So Jawaharlal Nehru joined these countries also, and together we followed non-aligned policy. So all together we have not joined this US camp or USSR camp. As for the immediate neighbors, for the sake of neighboring countries, Jawaharlal Nehru formulated Panchashil policy. Panchashil policy for the sake of neighboring countries. How India have to behave with its neighboring countries. What are the neighboring countries, ma? Pakistan, yes, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, etc. All these, there are 7 neighboring countries for us. So Panchashil policy was formulated by Jawaharlal Nehru, so that for the sake of neighbors, non-interference in each other's internal affairs. That means according to this Panchashil policy, India will not interfere in each other's internal affairs. Okay, we must not interfere in any neighboring countries' internal matters. Okay, however, India had to face war during this period. First with Pakistan over Kashmir in 1948-1965, over Bangladesh issue in 1971, and with China over border issue in 1962. India was not well prepared for the wars, especially the war in 1962 and sustained heavy losses of human life and money. Okay children, have you understood? Even though we have not we have maintained Panchashil policy, but still India had to face certain wars with Pakistan, Bangladesh and China. When we had war with China, India was not prepared well, so we have to face heavy losses of human life and money. Okay children, have you all understood the lesson? So children, I have told you to complete the classwork, but very few children send their classworks to me. So as soon as possible complete the classwork and get ready. By 9th you have to bring your history classwork up to 16 lessons. Okay children, up to 16 lessons. Now you have to do the homework questions whatever I put to you today and send it to me by today's evening itself. Thank you.